Well, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone had a nice weekend. Today is a great way to start a new week. I'm so excited about why we have all joined here today. As you look around, you see a lot of great community partners, from JCPS to TARC, the Louisville Urban League, union partners, Metro Council members, members of my administration, community leaders, and so many more. A lot of wonderful folks who have worked incredibly hard to make this important announcement today possible. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here, and thanks to everyone else with all of your respective organizations for helping us get to this day. For recognizing a community challenge and working together to find solutions, even when it's not technically within your authority. As many of you know, our city has faced two transportation challenges. First, with TARC, public transportation service. So many people across our neighborhoods rely on TARC. Yet TARC is facing a financial crisis as the agency loses 20% of its operating budget that's been filled by one-time Federal American Rescue Plan funding. That is coming to an end. And so that required a difficult decision by TARC to reduce the frequency of many of its routes. And that resulted in fewer TARC bus drivers that will be needed in the next year or so. But let me be clear. TARC drivers are the very reason that the service works. They are essential. Our city depends on them. And all of us and our entire city wants to be there for them in return. At the same time, JCPS faced a bus driver shortage that made it difficult to get Louisville's children to school on time. As we all know, this required a tough decision by the JCPS board to end busing for all but two magnet programs. As mayor, I don't have any authority over JCPS. But these challenges impacted families across our entire city, especially in our most underserved neighborhoods. And so I could not stand on the sidelines and watch either of these challenges continue. While I recognize there is no perfect answer for either challenge, it seemed to me that we had a perfect opportunity here. An opportunity to support our TARC drivers, an opportunity to support JCPS, and an opportunity to support JCPS families and students across our city. So I invited groups and leaders from across our city together to meet in my office and to find solutions. And while historically, not all of these groups and organizations that are with us here today or came together have worked closely together, this seemed like the perfect opportunity to do things differently, to work together and create innovative and groundbreaking approach, to find a solution that our community needs and that our community deserves. Because no child should miss out on a quality education because they aren't able to access transportation. And no TARC driver should face the uncertainty of losing a paycheck that their family depends on when they have supported our city for so long. So together, yes. So together, we all looked at the facts. JCPS needs approximately 200 bus drivers to completely solve their current bus driver shortage challenges. However, Dr. Polio shared with our group that with approximately 70 drivers, JCPS could restore some of the magnet bus routes that some of our most in-need families and children rely on and deserve. So if TARC moved up the timeline for its planned route frequency reduction plan, 70 bus drivers would be available to apply and take on these needed JCPS routes. It was much more complicated than any of us who are working on this thought. It took a lot of negotiations, a lot of open-mindedness, a lot of commitment from everyone that you see here with us today. But everyone who was at our table, from TARC to JCPS, our union leaders, JCPS board members, pastors, Metro Council leaders, the Louisville Urban League, other community leaders, were all committed to finding a solution. Now we will all state very clearly, this is a short-term solution. It will not fix everything for the long term. However, it will help our most in-need students for the upcoming school year. And it will give us more time to continue working to find long-term solutions for JCPS, for TARC, for our entire city. I am so proud. Today and over the past few weeks, Louisville has shown our strength and our willingness to come together, to be bold, and do what it takes to be there for our people across the city. And we are going to keep showing up at the table. We are going to keep collaborating and keep working together to solve the most important challenges that our cities face. Starting today with public transportation and transportation for our JCPS families, but continuing to attack the challenges like reducing gun violences, reducing street homelessness, improving public education, and so much more. Today, this is a win for our public transportation system. This is a win for our public school system. And even more importantly, it's a win for every single Louisville family and child who goes to JCPS. Thank you all for working so hard together to make this happen. This is just the beginning. And now I'd like to introduce one of our partners who is so critical to make this happen, and that is the leader of JCPS, our superintendent, Dr. Marty Polio.
All right, good morning, everybody. Very excited to be here today. It has been a process to get to here, but I just want to say first and foremost, I think it was about 6 weeks ago we stood down in Metro Hall and had a press conference, and to be able to accomplish this in 6 weeks with the amount of people that had to come together to do this is an amazing feat. And so first and foremost, I want to thank Mayor Greenberg. He stepped up early on in the process and said, how can we help? And that is just a fantastic partner here in JCPS, along with Metro Council members who stepped up and said, let's work on a solution to this. I also want to thank the two unions that were involved in this, ATU, who represents the TARC drivers, and then Teamsters, who we have a close relationship, who represents JCPS drivers, have been at the table all along. And so when you look at this and you really see that, you know, it's the mayor's office, it's Metro Council, it's JCPS, it's two unions that are working together, it's TARC. All of these things had to really come together, and it is amazing that that happened in 6 weeks, and I'm so proud of that we were able to do that, because everyone came to the table and said, let's help both TARC and help JCPS accomplish the things that we need to. I also want to thank our community members who have been in support. I believe this. A school system is only as good as the community that is willing to wrap their arms around the school system, the kids, and say, how are we successful? And so many community partners stepped up. You see behind us, Louisville Urban League, Lyndon Pryor has been from the very beginning of this journey with saying, how can we help? And an example of that is we are having another bus driver blitz in 3 weeks at the Norton Track Facility in West Louisville. So we are excited about that as well. So it's an exciting time. I do want to say this. It has been a very difficult time, obviously. Let me review a little bit about our bus drivers right now. As of the last day of school, a week ago, last Friday, we had 442 bus drivers. As a reminder, we had nearly 1,000 in about 2014, providing the same services that we have now. On the first day of school next year, without these 70 drivers for TARC, we were anticipating about 530 bus drivers. With about 50 absent each day, that takes us below 500 bus drivers every single day. Very difficult and challenging for us to meet the needs of all of our kids, get kids to school on time, as has been well documented. With these 70 TARC drivers, it will be a game changer for many of our kids. I want to say this. that now we will have 600 bus drivers. If we get the full 70 allotment from TARC, which we believe we will, we are excited to say we will have the opportunity to bring back some services to our students. And I want to reiterate what the mayor said. Our goal here is to bring back services to our neediest students, our most disadvantaged students, so they continue to have access to our magnet and traditional programs across this district. And so I do want to say once again, this is not for all students to come back. We would need about 200 bus drivers or 130 more than the TARC drivers that we are getting in order to bring back all services. But I am very proud to say that we are going to identify our neediest students and make sure that they are able to remain at their schools and get transportation. As we have done with our survey, about 95% of our students are saying that they're going to stay at their current magnet or traditional school, but we want that to be every single student, especially those in need. So our transportation team, as they are working on a plan right now, as you know, we are rerouting all of our transportation. We will now be looking at ways that we can add for our neediest students. We will be in contact with our families over the next few weeks. We plan on bringing a recommendation to our board as soon as possible to bring back some of those services for our neediest students. A little bit of the timeline. We plan on early July, hopefully having these 70 drivers and bringing them in and doing training with these 70 drivers, which they will be paid for during those hours that they are training. This will not be for the first day of school. I want to reiterate that. We will be doing some ride-alongs, TARC drivers for the first week or two of school, but we will be notifying families of how we will assist them to get them to school in those first couple of weeks. However, we believe that once we get going on this, within the first couple weeks of school, we will be able to make sure all of our neediest students, those that we are identifying, are able to get transportation to their school. So it is a great day for us here. Once again, I just want to say I'm so thankful that the community has stepped up to support us. The mayor, Metro Council, everyone has really pitched in to say let's do what is best for our students and meet this need. I do want to say one more thing and underscore what the mayor said. This is not a long-term solution. This is a short-term solution or a Band-Aid of the issue that we are having nationally with bus drivers. And so this gives some reprieve over the coming year of which we can get our neediest kids to school. But I do want to say, long-term, this will remain an issue in our community, and we are all going to have to work together to make sure that we accomplish what we need to, which is get more bus drivers in our yellow school buses to get school on time. So once again, thank you, Mayor Greenberg. Thank you, Metro Council. Thank you for all of those who have pitched in to make this work and our two union partners who have worked together. We appreciate it and look forward to continuing work together to make sure that we meet the challenges. Thank you.
Next, you're going to hear from the interim director of TARC, Ozzie Gibson, who has worked tirelessly over these past 6 weeks to help make this happen. And also working immediately following Ozzie, Lillian Brents, who represents the TARC drivers from the ATU, who has also been a great partner with this initiative and has done such a good job as well representing all of the ATU members. Ozzie and then Lillian. Ozzie, please join us.
All right, everybody. So welcome to TARC. Great, beautiful facility here. It's very tough following these last two speakers because they've covered everything. So at some point I want to have a press conference where I get to talk first, but it is what it is. So here's what I realized when I first came to TARC. The first thing I saw was how many great, friendly, talented people we have working here. They're very dedicated to public service. But I also realized that these are challenging times for transit nationwide, not just Louisville. And that means challenging times for TARC. TARC is facing a financial cliff, as most of you have heard. But in the next coming months, we as a community, we have to figure out a way to solve that and come together so that we have a good, solid public transportation. From the beginning, my number one priority was to not lay off our bus drivers. And as the mayor have said, we have worked tirelessly over the last 6 weeks, and we've accomplished that. We're able to keep our TARC drivers under our umbrella, but help solve a community problem. I'll be taking this deal before our TARC board this Friday for their hopeful approval. The last 6 weeks, what we've accomplished, you look at everybody here, this is unprecedented. I've been around here a long time. And to be able to pull this many people and this many groups together to solve a couple problems, even though short term, is really where we need to go in our community, because this just shows that if we take the time to sit down and talk through solutions and everybody's problems and who can do what, we've come up with something to get us at least through the next year or two. The mayor's thanked everybody behind me, and there's a lot of other people here today that deserve the thanks, but I want to personally thank my brother Teamsters over here, and I personally want to thank Lillian Brents behind me right here. We can have all the power players up here, but these two individuals came together and done something that's hopefully will set a national trend of other groups to work together that have these problems. I want to thank the TARC leadership and our union leadership for working together on this, because they put a lot of hours into this to make this work. So what's next? It's important to note that this decision means that TARC will be accelerating their plan, as the mayor said, to Saturday Plus by 6 months. These service reductions is what TARC has proposed that'll be the least intrusive in our community and not affect paratransit and TARC 3. We will be starting this Sunday, June 30th. We're going to be holding meetings this week at 2 locations. You can see it on our website. But there again, in closing, I just want a big shout out to everybody that works at TARC, that we're going to continue, and I'm going to continue to fight along with Lillian so that we have a great public transportation for our community. I also want to stop and thank the JCPS bus drivers for getting our kids to school, because they are our future. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you very much. Lillian, it's all you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, good morning, Louisville. Let me just echo what everyone had already said is thank you. I want you to look to your right, look to your left, and then look at this panel up here. This absolutely could not be done without everyone standing here. And to say how much work it has been to get here is an understatement. But I do appreciate how we got here. And like many times we say before, and similar to what we say to the graduating class that graduated in 2024, is it's not where you start, it's how you finish. This conversation started over a press conference, and it ended with a press conference to where not only 2 of Louisville's great unions was able to come together and to provide transportation for Louisville's most vulnerable kids to get back and forth to school, but it also saved jobs. That in itself deserves recognition, because what TARC's issues is not addressed by this agreement. However, it does provide opportunities, and similar to like education can remove barriers, transportation can remove barriers. I just also want to point out the community that came together to make this happen. We're going to need the community to keep these conversations going. You will continue to see us advocate and fight and push for public transportation. The difference is we will be doing it together. And that's all I have to say, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Lillian. One of the reasons that this announcement came together quickly, and one reason why I'm confident that we're going to continue working to address the long-term challenges, knowing that this is just a short-term solution, is because we've been working closely with so many representatives of the community across our city. It was great to have members of the community provide detailed input and encouragement and pressure when we all needed it the most, and not just focus on this short-term solution that we're announcing today, but also keep us focused on the long-term solutions, on additional workforce development initiatives that we need so we have more JCPS drivers for the long term and more TARC drivers for the long term, on more focus on how the future of TARC and what it looks like as we conduct the rerouting study that's currently underway. And two of the folks that have been with us in these meetings that have spent tireless number of hours as well are the current CEO of the Louisville Urban League, Lyndon Pryor, and the former CEO and now CEO of the Perception Institute and all-around amazing community leader, Sadiqa Reynolds. Lyndon, Sadiqa, thank you to both of you. Thank you to Audwin. Thank you to Alice Houston. Thank you to Pastor Williams, who could not be with us here today. Thank you to JCPS Board Chair Dr. Schull, who could not be with us here today. But thank you all so much for your contributions to get us to this point and commitment to continue working with us. So now I'm going to introduce, you'll hear from Lyndon Pryor, and immediately following Lyndon, Sadiqa Reynolds. Lyndon, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as I start, I just want to slightly correct the historical record. Today didn't start at the press conference. Today started before the JCPS board meeting several weeks ago or a couple months ago that ended the busing for magnet school transportation. And it started over a flurry of text messages between many of the individuals that the mayor just mentioned. Text messages that started with, how do we begin to fix this? How do we stop this? And not just between myself and several of those individuals, but many community members of many different organizations around this city who recognized what was at stake and what was in jeopardy, which was equity for all of our students. And how do we ensure equity and opportunity for all of our students? And that led to people showing up at that meeting, people raising their voices, including teachers, students, administrators, jeopardizing potentially their livelihoods at those meetings, and then people starting to gather after that meeting to organize and figure out what they could do. And then calling on people like the mayor, calling on council members like Ja'Cory Arthur, like Tammy Hawkins, like Marcus Winkler, as well as calling Dr. Polio and others to figure out what can we do together. And it was those things that then led to the press conference, that then led to the meetings, that then got us to this day. And all of that is to say that none of this would be possible had community not been at the table. And that is a testament to what it means to have community at the table always. And so I am proud and honored to stand here today to recognize the good. I'm a big fan of the saying that we should never let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And today's solution is not perfect. We have not restored equity and opportunity for all of our students in JCPS. But today is a good day. Today is a good first step. And so we are going to celebrate the good today. And so I am happy that we have been a part of something that is good and something that is a wonderful first step. There have been a lot of good thank yous today, and I want to echo all of those thanks, certainly for the folks who are here, but I certainly want to lift up not only my colleagues and compatriots who made today possible, but I want to say special thanks to certainly our current JCPS bus drivers. Who I think have gone on as unsung heroes in all of this. They do a phenomenal job getting our kids to school each and every day. They love their job, and our kids love them, and they are awesome at it, and we thank you for what you do each and every day. I also want to thank the TARC drivers who are now going to be a part of that illustrious group who are going to join us. Thank you for what you are doing and joining us. I know this is not the job that you signed up for, but I appreciate your sacrifice and your willingness to come and help be a part of this solution. We need you, we appreciate you, And I thank you for your sacrifice and your willingness to contribute to getting this done. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of the heart of all of our parents and students. And then thank you to all of our JCPS teachers and administrators, principals, and staff. This is hard on everybody. And you all, for the entire year, have dealt with what it means to adjust as students have had to come in late. You have managed to make adjustments so that those kids who are arriving late still learn. One of the things that Dr. Polio has lifted up is that we have still led the nation in recovery over the course of COVID, despite all of the transportation issues, and that should be highlighted and lifted up, because that means that we are still brilliant and that those administrators are still doing a phenomenal job, and you are going to continue to do that phenomenal work. And so that should be touted as a success in this, and you're going to continue to do that despite the barriers and despite the obstacles. And so I just continue to appreciate the work of our teachers and administrators and all that you do for our students and for our families. And so thank you all for working with us and being there to support our kids and our families despite all of the challenges that come. And so I am happy to be here to celebrate with everyone. And I look forward to working towards better solutions, not just for JCPS, but for everyone across this city when it comes to transportation. I say all the time that I'm tired of putting Band-Aids on broken bones. And that's what we have here when it comes to transportation. We got broken bones. And this is a great big old Band-Aid that we're putting on it, and it's a good thing. But we need to fix these broken bones. And that's going to take creativity. That's going to take innovation. That's going to take us digging in and doing some hard work. But we can do that. We have everything we need in this city to solve these big issues. I say all the time, we can do hard things, Louisville. If we work together, if we get everybody around the table, and if we dig in, we can do hard things. And so let's get to work. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to first start off by thanking the mayor. Honestly, I do not know if our meetings would have been able to stay together without his pushing and pressure, and I do really appreciate it. I want to thank Lyndon Pryor for his leadership and everybody standing up here. I cannot say enough about these two unions. I have been a member of a union. I have managed union folks. I have worked with union people, and these two leaders showed up in the way that I knew that unions would. Thank you to TARC, absolutely. As Lyndon said, and I think others have said, thank you to every TARC bus driver who has signed up and will sign up to help us in this. Thank you to every JCPS driver who has been doing the work and will continue to do the work. Thank you to the board of TARC. I see the board chair here, Ted Smith. Thank you all so much. There are so many people who deserve so much credit, and they are not here. But what I do want to say about us is this. Anytime we create a plan that hurts entire groups of our children, we are on the wrong track. And we have to make sure that we do not allow this to happen again. And I think we are standing here with a lot of good people. I have worked with Dr. Polio for so long. I have faith in his leadership. And I also know that sometimes when leaders are sitting in rooms with big problems, we silo things and we want to hold it in and we think that we can fix it. And I'm telling you, and this is an example of us coming together to fix this. None of us could do this alone. JCPS could not do this alone. And if you can't fix the problems alone, don't think about them and don't brainstorm alone. This is a very smart community. And as Lyndon said, we have the answers. I don't care what the national trends are. We are Louisville, Kentucky. We can do anything. We are solving this problem because we have come together. Our children, all of them, whether they are needy or not, whether they are black or they are white, what able or disabled, they deserve to feel like they belong. They deserve to understand and believe that they are our priority. Our administrators, our teachers, our principals, the janitors, the lunch ladies and men who are showing up every day, they ought to know that we care as much about education as they do. And any time we act like we are going to push forward a plan that does not take care of the least among us, we have failed ourselves, we have failed our city, and we are failing humanity. Every child in this city has dignity. Every parent in this city has dignity. Whether you punch a clock and you have to be there at 7 in the morning, so you are not able to drop your child off. You are not able to pick them up. Whatever the situation is, every parent has dignity. And what we did, what almost happened here, we almost allowed parents and children to be stripped of that. These children have lived through COVID. They have survived the civil unrest. They have lived through the problems of grown folks. They don't deserve any more suffering. So whatever we do next, let it be about them. At a time when our country is attacking education, Louisville, Kentucky, we are not the rest of the world. We are better than that. We have Dr. Polio as our superintendent. We have Mayor Craig Greenberg as our mayor. We have Lyndon Pryor as the president of the Urban League. We are not an average community. Lillian is here. Do not ever attempt to pass a plan on the backs of our babies. And I don't think anybody tried to do anything that they thought was not in the best interest. It's hard. Budgets are hard. Leadership is hard. I sent a note to someone this morning. I said, leadership is only easy for people who are observing. Leaders have to make tough choices. I want to tell you all, we went from disrupting a board meeting, and I am not proud of that. I went to that board meeting to sit and be a seat filler. I just wanted my body in the room. But when my pastor, F. Bruce Williams, got up and spoke, when we heard the things we were hearing, we knew we had to say something. But let this be an example. You cannot disrupt and not sit at the table to offer solutions. You must come up with answers. You must do the work. This group of people has done the work. We didn't get along every day, but we sat at the table and we did it because education matters, and we can't have quality education without transportation. Every single one of you belongs in this city, and every one of our children does as well. God bless you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be at the table. I left the Louisville Urban League, but my heart is in Louisville. I got a baby at 30th and Muhammad Ali. I will be here forever with you, fighting always for what is right for our children and for all of us. Education will change outcomes for all of us. I look forward to JCPS and TARC and other logistics experts coming to the table to give us some long-term solutions. We like this Band-Aid, but we will not stay here. There will be more. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lyndon. Thank you, Sadiqa, not just for being here today, but as you heard, for being so integrally involved in everything to help us bring us to this point and to keep us moving forward. And finally, I want to give some shout outs and thanks to members of Metro Council who have also been actively involved in this process and have helped us get to where we are today. Councilwoman Hawkins, thank you so much for your active engagement and encouragement for us to be here. Thank you so much. Councilman Kramer, thank you very much for participating in several of our meetings and for your engagement. Councilman Hudson, Councilman Reno Weber, thank you, and thank you everyone else on Metro Council who has encouraged us. We've got several members of Metro Council here today, and unfortunately the president of Metro Council, Marcus Winkler, had another commitment that he was unable to be here today. But he shared his excitement, and he asked me to read the following statement from him on behalf of himself and his Metro Council colleagues that have worked so hard with us. So this is from President Marcus Winkler. Quote, "Today we gather to celebrate the collaborative efforts of JCPS leadership, TARC officials, union leaders, city officials, and community leaders who have worked together for a unified purpose, to address the needs of the youth in our community. Our task was to ensure children had a safe and reliable form of transportation to and from school. What we're announcing today is not the ultimate solution, but just the beginning to finding long-term solutions for both TARC and JCPS. I can't tell you yet what those solutions will be, but I know the precedent reflected here today bodes well for the future. Our community has a will to face many challenges, but this solution proves that if local leaders work together toward a common goal, there isn't any issue that we can't tackle." That was from President Marcus Winkler. So again, I want to thank everyone who you've heard mentioned today, everyone else who has helped provide encouragement in the meetings, outside the meetings, part of these organizations, or from the outside. I am grateful to every single person. I'm grateful for everyone across the city that is committed to working together, who, as Sadiq would just said, will help us be a part of the solution by thinking of innovative, bold, and constructive ways to deliver results for Louisville. Not just talking about the challenges, not just arguing about the challenges, but coming up with solutions and being part of the work that is needed to make them happen. Thank you to everyone here today who has come together. Thank you for sharing your voices, your ideas, and delivering a great short-term solution for the city. Thank you all so much. Thank you. We should all celebrate this occasion. And with that, we are all happy to answer any questions that we might have from the media. Isaiah, you look like you're ready to go.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm doing all right. You know, I'm in the mud right now. Like I said, we have a lot more work to do, but we're starting off on the right step. Yes, so I think we was able to work together as a team as far as putting the deal together. I think that information came about Thursday, and then I was able to meet with my membership. For the most part, the main thing is that jobs are not lost. You know, at the time we was facing a layoff to where some of my members would not have a job, and due to no fault of their own, because similar to like this, stepping up for the community and, you know, volunteering to take kids to school, they have stepped up in the past, whether it's working through pandemic, rain, sleet, or snow, to be faced of a job loss. It was a hard pill to swallow, but that also encouraged me, and they gave me the strength, the energy, and the opportunity to negotiate and to fight for them to maintain their jobs. Our voices was heard. I did not do it alone. It was another union involved with that. And we had, you know, a partnership with the Greater Central Labor Council, the AFL-CIO. So you see me up here, but by no means it was not something that was done by myself. And so because of we was able to talk through and reach across the table and find a common ground, and that is to get kids to school and keep people in jobs. The membership received that very well. Yes, actually, for the most part, we're looking forward to, again, stepping up for the community and answering the call. We hope in the future that the community continue to step up and to answer the call when we need that in reference to the bigger issues that have not been discussed today. It's presented to my membership, and so that's how it goes. So I believe the boards, the TARC board.
Right. Yeah, I think based on all the feedback that we've gotten from the various boards that are involved, the JCPS board will vote on this later this month. The TARC board, as you heard from Ozzy, is going to be voting on this Friday. We do not believe that either one of the unions do not believe that either one of their membership needs to approve this agreement, but the boards will approve that in the coming days and weeks. TARC. Yes, every TARC driver will remain an employee of TARC. 70 will be driving JCPS routes on a daily basis. It is for one. It is currently, the agreement is for 1 year. Yes. Let's just go left to right here, and then. All right, Paul. TARC bus drivers will make the same wages that JCPS bus drivers make. However, they will have TARC benefits from pension and health care, which are similar but slightly different. But they will be making the same hourly wages. Currently, JCPS and the Teamsters are in negotiations for a new contract for JCPS bus drivers that will begin on July 1st. And the results of that new collective bargaining agreement will be the wages that TARC drivers make. Yeah, so this is, yeah, you want to answer that?
Okay, so the 70, they're TARC drivers. We have a choose-up process, and so they will sign up to work. That process have not taken place, but similar to like any other union job, is based off seniority. So those who are standing up, it will be where they chose to stand up. You know, it's one of these things to where a win is a win, you know, so maintaining the employees here at TARC, me maintaining my membership and to assist JCPS and working with the Teamsters, that's what's happening. One of the things, and I don't know if Ozzy want to come up here, we still have things that we're working on to improving the transportation here in Louisville. And so that being said, to maintain our drivers, and when funding or whatever we come up with to sustain transportation here, we will still maintain our drivers to do so. Okay, yes, so let me just start off and say I am a JCPS graduate. So I graduated from Ballard High School in '94, and I also have driven for JCPS before. And similar to like a lot of my members, we have all driven for JCPS before. And so having a general understanding, and I'm very confident in JCPS training to prepare them for any challenges that come up for that. Otherwise, you know, this is not a quick decision. This is not something to where we just said that this will happen. This is many meetings, many conversations, a lot of going back and forth. So whatever challenges it is, I'm very confident as far as working with everyone to make this work. Because the picture is bigger than us. We're talking about kids getting to school. We're talking about parents to be able to provide an education for those kids. So,
can I say something? I want to thank the media in advance for not demonizing our children. I really think that is so important. JCPS bus drivers, there are challenges in every job. Our children are not the greatest of those. The challenges are the routes, if they're long, there are a lot of other things. I want to make sure that Louisville, Kentucky does a great job of the humanization project here. Every one of these children should be left with their dignity when we've done enough harm. I want to make sure we thank the press in advance for not demonizing our babies. Thank you so much.
Thought I was getting away without a question today. But no, this would be the same as if we added 70 drivers. So they will come in under our umbrella of drivers. So if today we had 70 new drivers, we would hire them right away. It would be the same pay that we'd be paying them. We are picking up some of the gap between the benefits So they come under the same umbrella as our bus drivers. That was an important part to make sure we'll honor their experience as they come in as a bus driver. We're confident that hourly rate, all of the TARC bus drivers that come to us will get a raise. We don't have a dollar figure on that because there's so many things that come into whether bus drivers have overtime and challenging routes and those types of things. But it would be the exact same, nearly the exact same price as if we added 70 new bus drivers. Well, that's something we're working on now. We can't say exactly what we will be able to restore. And so we're looking at it right now. One of the things that we have to be confident in is that we don't end up in the same scenario we were this year, which is kids coming late to school. So that's, number one is making sure kids are getting late to school. Then we will add routes once again for our neediest students to get to magnets and traditional schools. And so we'll be making that decision over the next few weeks and taking that to our board. So we are going to really look at areas of the city where the neediest students are, where they live, and make sure that they have access to our magnets. Well, I'd love to get us back to where we were 10, 12 years ago, which was in excess of 950 drivers, close to 1,000 drivers. What that does is make sure when drivers are absent, we can pick up every single route. There are no delays. However, if we get to 700 bus drivers, we feel confident we would be able to bring back most, if not all, of the routes that we've had to cut. So really about 700 bus drivers is the number that we need long term. So we're still, even with the 70 drivers, going to be about 100 short.
Thank you all very much.